Hello, 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 hello. Okay, hello. This is an interesting setup on my screen. Alright, so shows me a very small screen. Okay, so if you do come on, I may or may not know those that come on or not. Okay, so I have just had something else pop up on my screen. But anyway, so today is really just about learning the differences between a healthy and an unhealthy friendship, and I wanted to bring this to your attention because I know it can be a bit confusing to know, is my friendship like healthy or isn't it? You know, there can be some aspects of the friendship that make you doubt that your friendship is healthy. So I'm here to differentiate the differences between them both. And first we're going to be looking at healthy signs of a friendship, and then we're going to move on to the unhealthy signs of friendship. And this is all just to bring on awareness, and I'm just wanting to come today and show up and be present with you all and just share my experience, my expertise in this area. Okay, is that cool? Awesome. Okay, so before I do that, I'm just going to have a look as to how I look on the Facebook page, because I'm not currently on the Facebook page. I'm on something slightly different, so I just want to get an idea of what it looks like. Yeah, okay, looks like that. Okay, right, so brilliant. So if I look down, it's because I've got notes, okay? Now, signs of healthy friendship. So you might want to grab a notepad with this particular life today, right? Just for you to get an idea. So, signs of a healthy friendship, right? Okay. So, one example is this, right? Your friend phoned you up to see how you're doing, and she asks you, how's your week been? She asks, what have you been doing? She asks questions that are going on in your life. So, for example, if you're learning to drive, she'll ask about that. If you're working, she'll ask, how's work going? It's not just about the general questions, but it's more specific than that. It's going into the questions like, how's your self-care? How have you been looking after yourself this week? And you attract those healthy friendships when you're doing the same. So, in fact, I work on self-care and personal growth, personal development. So I attract those that do the same. So when you yourself do something along those lines, you do generally attract the same. And it creates a healthy friendship because you're on that road, you're on that path of leading that direction. So you're attracting what you put out and what you believe in your mind. It's very, very true. It's a very true thing. So anyway, your friend asks how you're doing, asks how's your week's been, and also plans to meet up with you. But it's also vice versa, where you do the same in return. You equally phone your friend in the week. You equally message them quickly and ask how you're doing, how was, your x-ray, how was whatever, your doctor's appointment, because you're interested as well with your friend, just as much as they are interested in you. And with healthy friendships, it becomes a two-way friendship where one is asking how you're doing, and so is the other. So a healthy friendship works like that. It has to be a two-way friendship for it to actually flourish and keep going and not fall down. So consistency is there as well, and something I just wanted to add with the first one I mentioned there was that they ask about your overall health because they are genuinely interested. They're not looking to gain something from you. They're not looking to then ask you for money. They're not looking to they're not having a reason to ask you other than they simply care and show an interest. And that is true. You can trust that. A healthy friendship works with consistency, so consistency is there. Your friend will make plans to see you, like I said, and you will do the same in return. You know, something I go by, that I live by, is if I'm meeting up with a friend or anybody, if I meet up with them in their house or if I meet up with them in the coffee shop, then I will make it a point for them to come back to me. It's just something I've always done. If I've gone over to my friend's house, then I will then invite my friend over to my house, you know, in return. It's always something I've done. So consistency is there. And healthy friendships are an equal friendship where you both play a part in that role. You both play a slightly different part in that role, but you come together with your different interests. And a healthy friendship also allows space for disagreements. And with disagreement in a healthy friendship, the other friend of yours and you in the friendship, you're both equally able to be emotionally mature about how you respond, how you react. And actually, when you become emotionally mature with disagreeing, you don't actually find that you react at all. You rather respond. And there's a big difference between the two. When you react, you're reacting out of a temporary emotion. So like anger or frustration, upset. Whereas a response is well thought about before it's given. And that is something that comes into the healthy friendship, is a well thought about disagreement in terms of words, in terms of behaviours, in terms of how they conduct themselves. They're very aware of themselves in a healthy friendship. They're very aware of who they are and what they're conducting in that friendship. And they're very aware of your needs and not hurting you in any way, which is really healthy, really, really healthy. Another one is your friend respects your needs. So if you plan to meet up with your friend and you say you want to go to the cinema, right? You want to go to the cinema, and the night before, all of a sudden, you start throwing up. You start going sick everywhere overnight. And then by morning, you're not feeling much better. So, regrettably, you message your friend and say, really, really sorry. I've been throwing up all night. I'm going to have to cancel today. You know what? Your friend will show a complete understanding in your response. Your friend will show complete understanding, complete compassion, and what they will actually say to you is not the things that you fear they'll say to you, but it's the complete opposite. They will say words like, I hope you get better soon, which I'm sure you've all heard before. But then they extend that sentence where they say, let me know if there's anything I can help you with. Let me know if I can do anything for you. If you need to go shopping, let me know. Message me. Yeah? So notice that when you cancel because you're unwell, see your emotional needs matter in this moment because you're unwell, notice that your friend in healthy friendship doesn't take it personal. Doesn't take it personal. And why is that? Because it's not actually personal. It's not actually personal. And instead they show compassion and grace and love and understanding. And all of those traits come because they are consciously working on themselves and they're consciously aware. So that's what can happen in a friendship, in a healthy friendship. And vice versa, if your friend says to you, I'm really, really sorry, I can't meet up today. There's a lot happening today, more than I thought planned. Can we meet up another day? Again, you are equally understanding and you say, yeah, let me know if there's anything I can do to help you in the week. You don't take it personal at all. You don't take it personal. Another healthy sign of a friendship is that they're a good listener. They're a good listener more than a talker. So they can listen to what you have to say, and you also equally are able to be a good listener in return, rather than talk and vent. And even when they're talking about their struggles or problem, in a healthy friendship, you're not quick. Neither of you are quick to judge. Neither one of you are quick to point out what they definitely should do or shouldn't do. Neither of you come with criticism. And criticism can be a good thing to share sometimes, but the criticism I'm talking about is, the one I'm talking about where you feel judged, where they say things like, oh, well, you should have just done this. You shouldn't have done that. Not really showing understanding or grace. And grace can be really hard to actually implement in relationships in general, because, Jesus is the best at showing grace and we can learn from him as our role model. But we can nowhere near be perfect in showing grace. But in a healthy friendship, there are signs of grace being shown and are evident in an overall friendship, where they're a good listener more than talking and venting. So, I don't know if you've ever heard of, 11 a Reef, where you say to your friend, I've gone to Tenerife. I've been to Tenerife twice, and they'll say, I've been to Tenerife 11 times, It's a funny joke, but the point is, in a healthy friendship, your friend will be a good listener rather than talk and vent about what they think or about what they think you should do. Because in a healthy friendship, it's not self-centered. It's not about them, it's not about you, it's about we. Yeah. And that can be applied in a relationship as well. It's not about them, it's not about you, it's about we. We together. So, also a friendship encourages a healthy friendship encourages healing, expression, and honesty. They don't shy away from it. They embrace it. So, a friendship encourages healing, expression, and honesty. And they don't shy away from it, they embrace it. Why? Because they are comfortable enough to even be uncomfortable. But because they're working on themselves and consciously aware, they're okay with expression, with self-expression. So if you feel like you want to cry to them or to just talk to them, they're going to embrace it. They're not going to shy away from it. They're not going to be emotionally immature about it. They're going to support. They're going to show understanding because they have been there themselves and they know know exactly how best to support you. And they encourage it. They encourage healing. They encourage expression. They encourage personal development. They encourage honesty. Yeah, these are all signs of a really healthy, flourishing friendship. And I'm sharing this because I personally have known large differences between a healthy and an unhealthy friendship. And I've had experience in both a friendship and a relationship, but especially in a friendship, there is a big difference between them both. Okay? So that was all about healthy signs of friendship. Okay, so this can help you examine in your own life now who your friends are and what kind of traits are they pouring out, what kind of traits are they producing in your life, what kind of fruits are they bearing in your life. Because a healthy friendship should never make you question or doubt your views, your beliefs, your ideas. And also, a healthy friendship should never make you feel worse than you did before the relationship began, before the friendship began. That's a big no-no. Okay? So now we're going to be moving slightly over towards the unhealthy signs of friendship. And it's basically the opposite of what I've talked about. So your friend, or even you, will phone, so call each other on the phone, or meet each other face to face. And instead of asking how you're doing, how's your week been, instead, so let's aim this more towards your friend for now, but it's vice versa. Your friend will phone you with urgency. Urgency. Why haven't you texted me back yet? And that's how they can start off a conversation. Okay? Or, where have you been? I've been trying to call you. Why haven't you been answering? Now, some of these questions can be genuine because they are interested. But when it comes with attitude and when it comes with urgency, it's not caring. Yeah. And it's more about meeting their needs than yours. And you can tell that by them not asking how your day's been, not asking anything about your own personal life, but asking all the questions about surface level questions, like how's the weather been for you, but not going any deeper than that. Now, an unhealthy friendship will be reactive rather than responsive, and it's because either you or your friend are not emotionally mature in yourselves to be able to handle emotions healthily. So instead of being able to handle them emotionally and manage them well, the friend or you will phone each other and complain, phone each other and gossip, phone each other with a sense of urgency of, why haven't you texted me back yet? Why this, why that? And it's all signs of immaturity, but it's also an insecurity as well. It's also a sign of insecurity. Another one could be, I've messaged you. I'm just trying to think because I had experienced this myself. Basically, just questions that don't show that they're caring, but they just want to vocalize. And I can bring the 11 Reef, the joke that I said earlier, where if you say I've been to Tenerife twice and they say I've been 11 times, that's the sort of thing that gets brought in the unhealthy friendship, where jealousy arises. Jealousy begins to arise, where if you've said to your friend, my husband or my other friends have bought me a new bracelet, check it out, they might say, I've got one in silver. They won't embrace and celebrate you. And that's the difference between a healthy and an unhealthy friendship, is they won't show any signs of support or encouragement. They won't appreciate and celebrate you. because they're self-centered, so they're focused on themselves a whole lot. And maybe even after this live, you'll begin to understand what kind of friendships you have in your own personal life, and what kind of friendships you're looking to have. But an unhealthy friendship is very, very self-centered, and it's emotionally very immature as well. And you can grow out of even friendships, sadly. You can, outgrow each other. So if you've been friends like all of school up until now, you're bound to be different in terms of what you believe in, your values, your interests, your hobbies. All of those things will change since school. Like, of course, because you're adulting, you're becoming mature, you're growing. It's evident. You can't not. But in an unhealthy friendship, there is no understanding, there's no support or encouragement in any of these. So there's no celebrating you in any way. So if you've had a driving lesson, they won't think to ask you how is your driving lesson going, or if you've been to the doctors. Unless it's something very dramatic, they won't tend to ask deeper questions in your own personal life, okay? Because they're not focused on you at all, they're focused on them. Another one is proving yourself or over-explaining yourself. In an unhealthy friendship, you find that you will be over-explaining why you said that something the way you did to them, because they now have doubt in you. So that could be anything. But if you've said something to them, like for example, I'll call you back. Say if you're in the middle of cooking dinner, they call you and you say, I can't talk now, I'll ring back later. And in your tone of voice, you sound a bit flustered, for example. That then can be taken with your friend as a really negative thing, where they might feel rejected or hurt or offended by your tone of voice. So later when you do ring back that friend and notice you're doing the calling, anyway, I'll come back to that in a bit. When you do call your friend, then they're offensive, they're immature, or because they're offended and they can't bring themselves to listen to what you have to say or even listen to your apology. Now, you might say, I was in the middle of cooking, that's when you called me. Even when you just explained that, it might not even be enough in your friendship to even just say that. You might find you have to over-explain yourself, like, I was flustered, so when you called, I didn't know that you were going to call me, and I was flustered. And when you over-explain yourself, it doesn't make it any better. They still have doubt, they're still in a pootie. Yeah? So when you over-explain yourself, you're not doing anybody any favours for you or your friend, because what you've done then is disvalue yourself. You've explained, I was in the middle of cooking when you phoned, but when you over-explain then, that in itself is not needed. Not needed. It shouldn't be there. It shouldn't even need to be there. When you over-explain why you're late coming back from work to your partner, even, like, you can explain, but you don't need to then over-explain. Does that make sense? Another sign of unhealthy friendships is similar to what I just talked about, really, making you doubt your words, values and beliefs and your views. Making you doubt, because say after that scenario where you were in the middle of cooking and you phoned your friend back and they're still offended, whatever, you end the call, they can make you then doubt, oh, should I have even been flustered? Was it right of me? Was it wrong of me to be flustered? You begin to then question your identity, yourself, and that's a really unhealthy sign, because you've allowed their insecurities to be like the voice in your own head. So you've allowed their power to to become your power in your head, and whereas you've then become, in a sense, powerless to your own beliefs and your own views and values and things. So another one is when losing connections with your family or friends. This is an interesting one, where even in a friendship, right, even in a friendship, you could attract a certain type of person that will sneakily but surely and slowly drift you away from your friends and family. They could bring a lot of drama into your life. And this could be vice versa. All of these things I'm saying now could be vice versa. You could equally be, the toxic friend. You could equally be the jealous friend, the immature friend. If we're going to be really, really honest with ourselves, that is. But we can equally be the other person in all of this. Okay? We don't need to play victim. Okay? Because we can be honest. We can be mature young women, where we acknowledge our mistakes, we've acknowledged what we've done, and we can learn from them, because that's what mistakes do. We can learn from them, okay? Now, another one of an unhealthy sign of a friendship is assumptions being made directly at you. So I could take that example I was just talking about there with cooking as an example. So your friend might turn around and say, you were mean to me earlier on the phone, or because I didn't meet up with you yesterday. They could bring something totally off the spanner like that, where you're not thinking that at all, but that's only going by assumptions. Yeah. So you or your friend bring up something from yesterday, last week, but assuming that that's the case, and then throwing that curveball directly at your friend, where you assume. You don't ask, is this really true? Did this really happen? Instead, you assume. You have doubts, and then you assume, and then you throw your assumptions onto your friend. That's a sign of insecurity, insecurity, doubt creeps in. Where they're not sensitive to how you feel, and you're not sensitive to how they feel. And instead of looking at the problem as the problem, you're actually then looking at the friend as the problem. You can look at a problem. So in a healthy, I'll go back quickly to a healthy friendship or relationship. You can have a problem come up, and then you can both equally deal with the problem. Whereas an unhealthy friendship or relationship works like this. You have the problem at hand, but instead of working together, you then turn it around where you think that the friendship or the person is the problem rather than the problem. Does that make sense? So instead of the problem being a problem where you can solve, you've got the friendship over here, and you begin to think that that's the problem, they're to blame, rather than facing the problem together. Yeah? So that's not a very good sign. And another one is if you cancel your plans to meet up with your friend because you've fallen unwell the night before, like I mentioned a lot early in the beginning, they will happen to say along the lines of, that's not fair, I've waited ages today and got ready, using manipulation and self-centeredness to try and control the situation, to try and control you for being unwell, right? They make it out that you're the bad one now because you're unwell. So, making you feel bad about being unwell, right? That's a real thing. There are friendships that work like that because they only think about themselves. You're now an inconvenience because you've upset their day. So instead of saying, hope you get better soon, hope you get better soon, sorry to hear that. Instead, it's about me, it's about it's that's not fair. I've waited so long today, and now you stood me up. Whereas then, in that friendship, then you might feel like you then have to apologise. Where you might say, oh, sorry to be an inconvenience, we can meet up, next week. And they might say, no, it's fine. No, it's fine. But it's not fine. So using manipulation and self-centeredness to control, sadly, that's what it is. Alright, it's a one-sided relationship where you, now this could be the friend or you, but one of you ends up sacrificing the time and themselves a whole lot in the friendship, and then it becomes a seesaw where one side of the seesaw is down, like that. So instead of it being level like this in a two-way friendship, it's now like this. Or because you're putting your weight on your time, your effort, you're over-explaining, proving yourself, all of that, you're putting all of that into a relationship, into a friendship. And when you do that, you, like I said earlier, you don't make the other person feel any better. You just keep digging yourself rabbit holes, really, of maybe showing signs of distrust for them. Whereas, of course, what we've looked at is in a healthy friendship, it works completely opposite, and they have understanding and acceptance as well. So it's a really big deal to work on yourself and work on your emotional wounds, because they can obviously come into a friendship and a relationship. Even in marriage, it can come in, right? Where you've got situations that haven't been resolved in the past, and they come up to the forefront in today, in some form of way. Now, one more thing I'll say about the unhealthy friendship is that when you meet up with your friend, okay, or they meet up with you, one of you then gets stood up. One of you gets stood up, and it happens again and again and again. And when one of you tries to call the other, they are distracted, they're busy, they're talking to their sibling on the other line, they're very busy. Whereas when the other person has been the listener, given up their time, they're now not receiving that back in return. They're receiving distractions or busyness, showing signs of not really caring about the friendship, about the individual. And that is exactly how a friendship can sadly start to diminish and end. Because right there, they don't feel valued or heard. And you don't have to have like an emotional traumatic wound in that to know that you're being not heard. You can just know in that situation, I'm not being valued, I'm not being heard. You just know. Because why? Because you believe in yourself. You believe in yourself deep down. And they're not showing any signs of the healthy friendships that you've given to them, perhaps. So in all the unhealthy signs of friendships that I've just given there, you never have to do any of those in a healthy friendship, because like we looked at earlier, it looks a lot different. A healthy friendship naturally allows you to express, to heal, to embrace, to be honest. A healthy friendship naturally allows room for being understanding, being sympathetic, and loving, and vice versa. You equally in the friendship will allow space, allow room for being understanding, nurturing, being sympathetic, showing love and compassion. Yeah? So these are only just some of the differences between a healthy and an unhealthy friendship. Now, there's a lot more, obviously, that I can talk about here. But what I'm going to say is that there are a lot more traits in a friendship on both sides, a healthy and an unhealthy one, that you can definitely look out for. But these are some good golden nuggets today to take away with for today. But what I will say is I do have a bundle package that I've made where you do learn all of the differences between a healthy and an unhealthy friendship. So some of the ones I said today are in there, but there's a whole lot more to it. There's a whole lot more. And if you would like to, watch some of the, because it's a video, if you would like to watch and understand more of the ways that you can identify what a friendship is and looks like for you, then you can reach out to me on Facebook. You can reach out to me or on Instagram, and I'll be sure to send that over to you. So that's a bundle that's been prepared already in advance. So it's pre-recorded, but it's just a guide to help you in your everyday life, because you can come across friendships in your workplace, in church, in your family even, in school, college, uni. Wherever you go in the world, you'll always meet people, and it's a great lesson to learn the tools in how to actually have a healthy friendship, especially if that's what you desire. So, to summarise what we talked about today, okay, there are key things that we've talked about here, and I'm just going to name a few. We've looked at, in a healthy friendship, how your friend phones you to see how you're doing, and you do the same back in return, saying how your week's been and how's your doctor's appointment, all of those things. Showing interest and an interest in your overall health, and vice versa. Consistency is there, so your friend or yourself will make plans intentionally to meet up with a date, with a time, with a definite yes. Consistency is there. Healthy friendships are a two-way friendship, not a one-way friendship, not a one-sided friendship, where you both equally play a part in that role. We've looked at your friend respecting your needs when they need to be met, and you also respecting your friend's needs when they need to phone you and when they need to reach out to you as well. And then we've also looked at the unhealthy signs of friendship, where your friend or you will phone the other person with an urgency, with a sense of urgency of why haven't you texted back yet, and emotionally vomiting at you rather than showing understanding and asking how you're doing, proving yourself, over explaining yourself, having the friendship be a self-centered friendship, a one-sided friendship, feeling worse than you did before the friendship began, assumptions being made directly at you, and cancelling the plans and having them show this self-centeredness and stubbornness as well, by saying things like, that's not fair, I've waited ages today and got ready. All of those techniques. So what you can take away from this is how to introduce and implement really healthy friendships in your life. Healthy friendships with your family members as well, but just overall healthy friendships. And now that you know some of the differences between both of those types of friendships, you can now work on your own friendships or relationships in your own life and implement healthier ones, the ones that you desire to see in your friendship, the ones that you are praying about seeing in your friendship, okay? So, I hope this was very helpful for you. I'm going to leave this video on the Facebook group for you just to have a look at and take notes with. Like I said, I have got an entire bundle of all the different ways in how a healthy and an unhealthy friendship can work and look and be. If you're interested, do let me know and just message me on Facebook, on my Facebook page, if you're interested in that bundle. Okay, that bundle also comes with another thing as well on top of that, which is another video on how to thrive, right? Even on your worst days, even on those worst days, like how to actually thrive and get up and do the things you want to do, even on those worst days. So I guide you through a step by step. And then the third thing with this bundle, is I send you a personalized voice note in a message, a lovely personalized voice note from me to you, of just an encouragement. So this bundle is just under, it's a lot under £100. It's £77.77. So if you are interested in all of that bundle, do let me know. But if not, then also fine, also great. Have a lush day, whatever you decide to do, and I shall see you all very soon. I shall be on here again at some point. But have a lovely, inspiring, nurturing day today. And bless you.